What's up, guys? I'm back again this week. Now, it's been a while since I have done anything to do with a movie. So, I'm gonna do something to do with movies. Yep, I am. Okay. So, normally I would do movie reviews of movies that that have already come out, things that I've watched. This week, what I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to do a kind of movie review. I'm just going to kind of like talk about movies that I want to see that are coming out, that have not been released yet, and just basically basing it off of the trailers that have been released for these movies.
And just sits on his broke ass. So no, I don't want your number. No, I don't wanna give you mine. And no, I don't wanna meet you nowhere. No, I don't want none of your.
So, the first movie that I really want to see is Annabelle Creation, and it comes out this Friday, which is August 11th. It's directed by David F. Sandberg. He ended up directing the movie Lights Out, as well as the short that was on YouTube of the same name. And I loved Lights Out. I thought it was creepy, and it brought a whole lot of backstory to the evil entity thing that was in the movie. And they've announced a sequel that's going to be planned for it, which I'm also excited for, but that's a whole other story. We're talking about Annabelle right now. So he's directing Annabelle Creation, and I'm already excited for it. The trailer for it looks creepier than the first Annabelle movie. It is a prequel to Annabelle, which was a prequel to The Conjuring. So the first time we ever saw Annabelle, like the Annabelle doll, was in the very first Conjuring movie, and it was just like a little snippet at the very beginning of the movie, and then they went on to their own story. It got so much hype that they ended up creating a movie specifically for the doll, came up with this origin within that movie. But now, with this one, it's Annabelle Creation, and it's a prequel to that, and it shows how the doll was made and like came to be possessed and everything. So it seems like they're already changing what they had already done within that world. And that's the only thing I think I'm not going to like about this movie, is that in Annabelle, it showed how the doll became possessed and who possessed them. And then now this one is showing that it's going even further back from that. So I don't know if it's going to be like it happens this way and then the doll becomes cleansed and there's no entity in there, and then it goes into Annabelle and then it comes back around to be that, or if they're just kind of retconning that whole scene within Annabelle and just going with this new story. That's the only thing that I don't like about Annabelle Creation based off the trailer. I'm still going to go in obviously with an open mind. I know I'm going to come out loving it because it's a horror movie, and I pretty much love any and all horror movies that get released. There's only one that I'm going to re-watch eventually that I actually ended up falling asleep in the theater, and that was Drag Me to Hell. Sam Raimi, you have some weird ass like mouth fetish. I don't like it. It was creepy, it was gross, I felt disturbed, and your movie was boring. Stick to Evil Dead. So moving on from the horror, we will come back to it, but moving on for now, the next movie that I really want to see is The Hitman's Bodyguard. Now, if you don't know what this is, it is about a detective who gets assigned a new client, and when he shows up, he ends up finding out that it's actually a hitman. And so he has to protect this hitman from being killed, I guess, by other hitmen. I don't really know. All I know is that there's going to be a lot of action in it. There's going to be quite a bit of comedy because it is Samuel L. Jackson who's playing the hitman, and the detective is being played by Ryan Reynolds. And yeah, so it does look funny. It does look interesting. Again, I'm not super sure what the whole movie is about. It just kind of looks like something the director was just like, yeah, let's just make something funny and actiony because everyone likes that. So he just kind of like threw a bunch of things together and just made this movie. The director is Patrick Hughes, who ended up directing The Expendables 3. Now, I've never seen a single one of The Expendables. I don't know what it's about. All I know is that anytime I've seen any of the Expendable trailers, it's always just been like action scene after action scene after action scene. I never thought they looked interesting. I don't really like Arnold Schwarzenegger except for in the Terminator movies. I don't like Sylvester Stallone at all because you can't understand a single word he's saying. I don't think he's a good actor, personally, at all, in anything that he's been in. I'm not a huge fan of Jason Statham. The only time I actually liked Jason Statham was in the Fast and the Furious movies. And yeah, just the constant changing of different characters. Like The Rock is in it at one point, I think. I could be wrong, I don't know. I know Jean-Claude Van Damme. I know he's in it at one point. I don't know, there's just... It's like, come on. Come up with an actual story, not a bunch of like old dinosaurs fighting each other. Like, they're retired for a reason. I think Bruce Willis was in one of them, although I like Bruce Willis. So I will go and see that just because it does look kind of funny, and yeah, I'll do a review on that one when I'm done watching that. Now, going back towards the horror, the next movie that I really want to see is the new Stephen King It movie. I watched the miniseries when I was younger, and it didn't terrify me. I won't say it ever terrified me, but I have had a different outlook on life since watching it. My camera needs to stop shaking. I'm gonna get off the table. I have had a different outlook on life since watching the miniseries. For example, if you've never seen it, it's about this clown who's not really a clown. He just appears as a clown, and it's like an entity from another world or dimension that comes down and he eats little children. But he disguises himself as a clown because it's like the innocence, and kids are like, oh, it's a clown, he's friendly, and then they approach him, and then all of a sudden, chomp on your face. But he lives within the sewers of the city, underneath Derry? I think it's Derry. I don't know, it's in Maine. He lives in the sewers, and it's not just like one of those like circle or like the square sewers that are just in the ground. It's the ones that are in the side of the curb that has the open side where you can like see inside of it. It's disgusting. So I always actively avoid those when I walk around outside. The original clown was played by Tim Curry, but in the new movie, it's being played by Bill Skarsgård, who was from Hemlock Grove, and I believe he was in True Blood at one point. No, that was his brother. Unless he was. I don't know. Definitely Hemlock Grove. And Finn Wolfhard is going to be in it as well, and he's playing Richie Tozier. In the miniseries, Richie was actually played by Seth Green, who does the voice of Chris on Family Guy. He was in Austin Powers as Dr. Evil's kid. So this one does have a darker feel. It's a lot creepier, it seems, than the miniseries. The miniseries seems very campy and fun, and it still had that like creepy, unsettling moment here and there. But you could definitely still go to sleep after watching it. This one, I feel like I'm going to maybe have an actual fear of clowns afterwards. Not sure yet. But the director of this movie is Andy Muschietti, and he directed Mama. So if you never saw that one, that's another good one. It's creepy. It's disturbing. It's good. Go watch Mama. And also that this movie is actually the first movie in a duology. So duology is 2 films to complete a story. And I actually didn't know that there was a name for like a 2-series movie thing, and I just learned that it was duology. I knew of trilogy, quadrilogy, anthology. Had no idea about duology. This one is going to be just the first half of it. It's when they're all kids, and then I guess the second movie is going to be when they're all adults, because that's how the book goes. That's how the miniseries kind of went. But I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this. It already looks a million times better than the miniseries, so I'm ready. The 4th movie that I want to see is Mother. Now, I don't know at all what this movie is about. I've watched the teaser, which gave nothing away. I watched the trailer, and I'm left it being more confused, I think, than I was with the trailer. I even read the description, and I don't even know. Like, I know it has Jennifer Lawrence in it. I know it has Javier Bardem. It's got Ed Harris, Michelle Pfeiffer, Domhnall Gleeson, who was in The Force Awakens. He was like the evil guy on the bad side. He was like the guy, I think, was he in white? No, I think he was all in black. And he was like leading, basically being like the Nazi people. I don't know. But then the thing that confuses me the most about this movie, and I didn't see her in the trailer, but she's listed in the cast, is Kristen Wiig. Now, I didn't think she would do something of a thriller or a horror movie.
Why
What?
are you screaming?
How am I screaming?
I don't know, I heard you yell.
Can you stop interrupting my video?
No. Give me 15.
Okay, well, I'm filming. Well, probably, as long as you're not interrupting me. Do I come in when you're filming? No, I don't. I'm going to kill it. Anyway, I don't know how I feel about Kristen Wiig being in this, because I don't think she'll... I'm gonna go in with low expectations on her part. I have high expectations for Jennifer Lawrence because I know she's a great actress, and I love her, and she can do no wrong in my eyes. I don't know. It looks confusing, kind of looks creepy, yet it intrigues me. I'm ready for it. Last movie. So we're leaving the creepy side of things again and going to end it on a nice little action-packed kind of comedy here and there note. The last movie that I would really like to see that's coming out really soon is Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Now this is a sequel to the first Kingsman, Secret Service. Taron Egerton and Mark Strong are reprising their roles from the first movie. From the first one, it's basically this kid who was basically just like a punk. He did things to get him in trouble all the time. He got arrested and bailed by Colin Firth, who was in the first one, and he ends up turning him into a spy, and just things happen. Samuel L. Jackson was the villain in the first one as well, and he had a lisp, so that was weird. And Sophia Boutella was actually in the first one too, who is now the new Mummy, which I love. I know a bunch of people like hate that movie, but I love it. I love it. Because I'm a monster fan. Anyway. Wow, unintentional horror promo again. They're reprising the roles. New people to be in on this movie is Channing Tatum. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about him being in the movie, but we'll see. Pedro Pascal from Game of Thrones. He played Oberyn. He's also in, I think, Narcos. I want to say he's in Narcos. He's going to be in it. Halle Berry's going to be in it. Jeff Bridges is going to be in it. Julianne Moore is going to be in it. And Colin Firth is back. I'm not sure how. I'm interested to see how he comes back because of what happens in the first movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It confuses me. I don't know. But it does look a lot better than the first one. I thoroughly enjoyed the first movie, especially Colin Firth's scene in the church. Was just amazing. But yeah, so this one is directed by the same person who directed the first one, which is Matthew Vaughn. He directed the first one. He also directed X-Men First Class, and he directed the first Kick-Ass. The thing that worries me though is he also produced Kick-Ass 2, and he also produced the god-awful movie Fan4stick. We don't talk about that movie. That movie's trash. It doesn't exist. It's not even... No, it should not even be classified as a movie because it's garbage. Sorry for the people, Ryan, who kind of enjoyed it, but it's trash. It comes out near the end of September, and I need it now. So those are my upcoming movie reviews. If you like it, make sure you give it a like. I will do a part 2 of things coming out from the end of September to maybe the end of October or November. We'll see. Leave a comment down below telling me what movie you're excited to see that's coming out. Make sure you subscribe, check out last week's video, and make sure you check out all my other movie reviews over there. And I will see you next week. Bye.